If you're here for stories that will leave your jaw on the floor, you're in the right place. Settle in. I was parked outside the grocery store, phone in hand, my fingers trembling. My stomach sank the moment I looked at the name above the message thread. It wasn't who I thought it was. In a single careless tap, I had sent a text meant for my best friend straight to my husband. And with that mistake, I'd lit a fuse I couldn't put out. The text itself was short, but there was no mistaking its meaning. He's starting to get suspicious. I think I should lay low for a while. Last night was risky, but God, it was worth it. That message was meant for Mila, the only person who knew about my affair, the only one I trusted enough to hear the ugly truth. But in a haze of panic and guilt, my brain confused her name with his, and the truth landed directly in the hands of the man I'd betrayed. I tried to undo it immediately, turning off my phone's Wi-Fi, wishing I could rip the battery out like in the old days. But it was pointless. A read receipt appeared seconds later. The drive home felt like moving through fog. My hands were numb on the steering wheel, my mouth dry, my breathing shallow. Darren and I had met a decade earlier, when we were broke graduate students sharing a rundown apartment with 3 other people. We slept on a mattress thrown on the floor, our fridge filled with more cheap beer than actual food, but we were happy. He could make me laugh until my sides hurt. He made me feel visible when I thought no one really saw me. 4 years, we were unshakable. But halfway through our marriage, life started to weigh us down. His startup consumed him. My marketing career demanded late nights and endless deadlines. We became ships passing in the night, exchanging quick pecks on the cheek and leaving conversations unfinished. Somewhere along the way, we stopped really looking at each other. Then came Nolan. He was in charge of a major client account I'd landed. Charming, a bit older, carrying a danger that felt thrilling compared to the predictable rhythm of my marriage. I never set out to cheat. It started small, playful remarks, a lingering hand on my arm, a drink after a long meeting. Then, on a trip to Chicago, we crossed a line I couldn't take back. I told myself it was a one-off mistake, that my shame would be punishment enough. But it didn't end there. The secrecy was addictive. So was the way he made me feel wanted again. We started using fake names for hotel check-ins, messaging on encrypted apps, weaving a second life in the shadows. I convinced myself I still loved Darren, that my betrayal didn't erase that truth. In reality, I was selfish and craving something I didn't know how to ask my husband for. When I finally reached home after sending that wrong text, the house was still. Darren's car was gone. His phone went straight to voicemail. I paced the living room for hours, the creaks in the floorboards sounding like accusations. He came home close to midnight, expression unreadable. Without a word, he walked past me, into the bedroom, and came back with a suitcase. "Where are you going?" My voice barely carried. No response. "Darren." He turned slowly, holding up his phone. "Risky, huh?" His tone was quiet. Too quiet. I opened my mouth to explain, to say something that might keep him there, but no words came. He just shook his head, took his keys, and walked out without even slamming the door. The next few days blurred together. He ignored my texts and calls. When I showed up at his office, his assistant told me I wasn't welcome. My long, desperate emails went unanswered. Mila was furious when I told her. "You texted him? How do you even screw that up?" I panicked. I whispered. "I thought he already knew." "Well, now he does." I ended things with Nolan that day, blocked his number, told him it was over. His only reply, "We both knew this wouldn't end clean. Hope it was worth it." It wasn't. None of it was. 2 weeks later, Darren finally reached out. He wanted to meet at the little diner we used to haunt when we first started dating. Neutral ground. I got there early, heart pounding. He arrived in the leather jacket he'd worn back in those days, looking utterly exhausted. "I want to hear everything," he said after a long silence. "No lies." So I told him. Every meeting, every excuse, every selfish choice. I didn't soften the truth. I cried through most of it. When I was done, he didn't raise his voice or wipe away tears. He just nodded slowly. "Do you hate me?" I asked. "I don't know what I feel," he said, meeting my eyes. "But I can't unsee that message. I can't unknow what I know." I begged for counseling, a trial separation, anything but the cold emptiness between us. But he had already decided. "You were my person," he said. "Maybe you still are, in some twisted way. But I can't live like this." 2 weeks later, we separated. The house felt hollow without him. I'd still pour 2 mugs of coffee in the morning, still fold his laundry out of habit. I tortured myself with our wedding photos, our wide smiles frozen in a time when forever seemed effortless. Sometimes I wonder if that text was my subconscious begging to be caught, because the guilt was eating me alive, and I didn't have the strength to stop until someone else ripped the truth into the light. Months have passed. Darren hasn't filed for divorce yet, but we barely speak. He's staying with his brother. I bury myself in work to avoid the quiet. I haven't seen Nolan since that day, though sometimes I catch a stranger's profile and feel my stomach turn. I don't deserve sympathy. I broke something sacred. And though I never intended for that message to go to Darren, it only sped up what was bound to happen. The cruelest truth is that I still love him, and I still dream about those early days in our shabby apartment, with no furniture but endless hope. Maybe that version of us is gone for good. But if I could go back to that single reckless second and take it back, I would. Because one wrong text didn't destroy my marriage. I did.